In this video, we're going to be talking about dog breeds and behavior and training. Is it nature or nurture, genetics or environmental factors that influence behavior? It's common to see people say it's all in how you raise them. That's not actually a correct statement. It does have some truth to it that environmental factors or how we train dogs does affect behavior. That's pretty obvious, I think, but there also are breed characteristics. Then we have, on the other hand, though, people that say only or mostly genetic based behaviors or reasons influence behaviors. And that also is not true. In reality, it's nature via nurture. Genetic based reasons influence behavior, and the environmental factors also influence behavior. In addition to that, most dogs are going to do the same dog behaviors or canine behaviors. And I think often it gets presented as a very specific breed is almost like a separate species. And that is just not really the case. And so, what that means is with dogs, we're going to see a lot of the exact same things. Dogs are going to run fast and chase things, especially anything that resembles like a critter or prey animal species. Most dogs bark quite a bit. There are a few that bark a little bit less, like Basenjis. To that, dogs are going to dig, dogs howl, dogs chew things, they use their teeth to investigate and bite things. They play in similar ways where they also use their teeth and play and bite. They body slam, tackle, mount and hump, and things like that. And so these are all canine behaviors you're going to see pretty much regardless of the breed. You may see sort of like selective breeding lead to specific types of breeds having more or less of these types of behaviors. For example, golden retrievers may chase animals, but they've been selectively bred to the point where they have soft mouths and they can pick up birds that are shot down during hunting. And that way the people are able to collect the bird and take it home, instead of some breeds you may have them grab a bird and consume it or to dissect it somewhat. And this means there's less variation than is often presented. Dogs are dogs. They're not all going to be basically like a separate species. With that said, there are some exceptions, kind of dividing the groups up into the American Kennel Club or AKC breed groups. Those can be useful where you're going to have herding breeds that herd animals and move them. You're going to have guarding breeds that will guard and do things like bark more. They're harder to socialize to new people. They may have like a little bit more aggression or be quicker to defend territory, property, other people, locations, things like that. In addition, there are the sporting dogs that will hunt. They basically chase other animals. There's specializations within those. Hounds are pretty similar as well, where you're going to have scent hounds and sight hounds. So these are the groups where you may see some differences between each individual breed. For example, too, like border collies will kind of stare down other animals, and that's not something you see as much in like every other breed of dog. And just going back to the sporting breeds for a moment, you'll see specialized skills such as pointing or flushing out animals or retrieving. And so you may find those kind of minor differences between each specific breed. But as far as just like overall dogs, we definitely would expect to see a lot of the same types of behaviors as we mentioned previously, like digging, running, biting, jumping, resource guarding, protecting puppies. You might say like maternal aggression, things like that, protecting territories. So these are all like pretty standard behaviors in not just dogs, but even like most canines as well. Sometimes you'll hear the myth that certain dog breeds need like a heavier hand or harsher training method or something like that, and that's not reality. Sadly, I think a lot of the special breed groups or even like rescues push that false information at times, and so you'll even see like Australian Shepherds or Border Collies or Mastiffs or whatever. Like, oh, they're all different. They need like a different training method or a shock collar or something like that. And that's just not true. We can use positive reinforcement or reward based methods to train anything we need to for dog training. All dogs need their biological and species specific needs met to feel safe and have trust with people, to be free from fear and pain, such as people not causing these at the very least. I also think there's a phenomenon of people being uncomfortable with dogs' behavior just in general at times, or some people anyway. There's even a term for this, fear of dogs, abbreviated as like FOD. And this can be things like dogs playing normally, they will bite and tackle and chase each other and growl. And those types of behaviors make some people very uncomfortable. And they'll try to do things like stop their dog from playing or never let their dog be around another dog after that. But that's actually not good for the dogs because it's their normal behavior and they like to play that way. And we see this with other issues as well. People can be very uncomfortable with dogs that move quickly and end up labeling them different things like hyperactive or obsessive, like if they like a toy to the point like it kind of looks obsessive, but it's really not. It's just a dog that like really enjoys like chasing a ball or a frisbee or something like that. And so again, I think as like people, we have to just be careful to not restrict dogs' normal behaviors and needs so much just because it makes us slightly uncomfortable. And we need to practice getting more comfortable with viewing normal dog behavior and just being like, I'm okay with that. We're going to let the dogs play. The exception to this is if someone is getting harmed. And so, like, if a dog is doing predatory behavior and like chasing squirrels or rabbits or something, we don't have to just let that occur. We can intervene because we're already providing dogs food. They don't need to harm wildlife in modern day life the way it's set up. In addition, if it's dogs playing but they're actually injuring other dogs, even if they don't intend to, like the dog just might have like a hard mouth and or it is legitimate aggression, we don't have to allow that. We should intervene and just be like, okay, we're going to separate the dogs, and then we can do specific training in order to resolve those issues, or just use management if needed and separate the dogs permanently. But usually we'll have some sort of like training situation we can work on first. And the same goes for humping and mounting as well. Those are actually normal dog behaviors. They pop up during play. They can be actual mating attempts as well, but these things can make people uncomfortable. And so, usually, if that's the case, it's something people can just get over. But it's also possible one dog is like harassing or bothering another dog and they don't like it. And again, in those situations, we would intervene and just be like, you can't do that, do a different behavior instead. And then we can reward those and kind of modify the behavior over time so the dog's not obsessively like bothering any other dog. In regards to aggressive behavior, it's often presented that there's like one specific breed or breeds that are aggressive purely, and that's all they basically are. And American Pit Bull Terriers is one. Some of the other bully breeds are referred to that way as well. But even in the case of pit bulls, in order for people to get those dogs to fight, they starve them, they neglect them, they abuse them physically, and they set up scenarios where the dogs will be frustrated and angry and more likely to bite and fight. And so, even those aren't just like genetic breed traits, those are really environmental factors causing dogs to be in that sort of negative state and more likely to fight, which means we can just not set dogs up to be in those types of negative environments, and we can do positive reinforcement training to modify behavior the way we want it. It's not aggression is not just specific to like a single breed. Plus, most aggressive behavior has very specific context. So, for example, as we mentioned before, dogs might have maternal aggression and protect their puppies to keep them safe. Dogs might have resource guarding behavior to protect their food or any other resource they find valuable, including like sleeping locations. Dogs can have aggression towards people they don't trust or they don't know well. That can include children as a group where they may not have been socialized to them, and so they're just kind of wary or scared of them in general. If dogs are in homes or behind fences, they're likely to be somewhat territorial and bark to either give off a warning that someone's there and or drive the individuals away from the home or other type of property. Dogs can also have aggression if they're afraid of something, so that could include like people touching them, body handling issues, veterinary examinations or procedures. Dogs also, we kind of mentioned this, but like dogs that are afraid of anything like other people, that's a really big one, or other dogs. And there can be aggression due to medical problems such as brain tumors or neurological disorders. Those can affect the dogs how they would act normally and actually cause them to bite more, even towards people that they used to trust or live with. So when we look at all these categories of aggressive behavior, it's not just a single breed that's going to fall under these. It can be any individual of any dog breed. But the good news is, for the most part, we have training methods that can resolve each of these issues. The exception might be the medical issues, which really need just like veterinary treatment and trying to resolve the underlying cause of the behavior. I think it's helpful to have kind of an awareness of dog breed characteristics and also of just dog or canine characteristics, and then look at each dog as an individual and go ahead and train them from that perspective. And that way you're covering what you should expect just from general dog behavior and breed behavior, but you're also aware that each dog is an individual and may have their specific likes and dislikes and personalities and behaviors that they prefer to do as well. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'm interested to see what other people's perspectives are on this, and we'll have plenty more videos to come soon. Thanks.